Good evening, darlings and deviants. My name is Lucy, and I am just a little loony. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up a box of the new Magic set, Lorwyn Eclipse. Let me get that box over here. It is full of really cool cards. I haven't really looked that much into the set because I've been very busy lately. But what we're also doing for anybody who's watching for the first time, typically when I do these box openings, what I'll do is I will, in addition to just opening the box, throughout the year I'm going to be putting together like a commander deck based off of what I open out of these boxes. Ergo, it's going to be like, the first deck is going to be really bad because it's out of one box, but as it goes on and as we open new cards, it slowly starts looking more like a real commander deck. Now, will we have access to Soul Ring and Arcane Signet? No, we won't, but, you know, it'll be fine. I'm sure. It's played well before. If you've seen me on some streams, I've played the decks there. And they've been really fun, and it's been a really interesting like deck building exercise. Now, for Lorwyn specifically, it's going to be a bit more awkward, I think, because there's no like 3-color legends to build the decks around. If I remember correctly, there's like 1 or 2 of them, but they're not like fantastic ones. Like I know Marwyn is a Sultai elf fairy commander, which is really interesting, and I would love to build an actual deck around that, but as it stands in this set, it's not amazing. So, we are going to start as soon as I get the right scene. Let's go here. Ta-da! Box! And new setup. I can now actually play some games. You'll also notice that I am streaming vertically now. I am in vertical screen now. I have adopted past God's given aspect ratio, and now I'm here. You'll see me in the bottom left corner. Chat should be around where Spinda is, probably by like here. But you should be seeing this in 2 ways, so however you want to watch it, you can. Let's get right on into it and open up this box. There's also shocklands in this set, which is very good. The secret, the special guests are very, very varied. Like, there's some really good ones, but there's some really bad ones for a challenge like this specifically. I think they're all very good in general, but as it stands, they are okay. Alright, I think it's like 30 packs now? It used to be 36, but I don't know how many packs are in here anymore. They keep changing it, and I don't know. What's that? It's trash. Be gone. Alright, we got a bunch of packs. Don't need the box anymore. Okay. Well, obviously, we gotta start with a pack with a cute woman on it. So, let's open up first pack of Lorwyn Eclipse. I went to pre-release last night, and I did okay. I went 3-1. Most of the games were fine. I did kind of just lose to Magic the Gathering in a couple games where it's just like, hey, you don't draw your lands, or you don't, you know, you draw too many lands. It's just how Magic the Gathering works sometimes. All right. Ooh, starting off with a really good one, we have Evolving Wilds. It searches a basic land. Everybody knows what Evolving Wilds does now. But this is really good to open up at the start because this means we have access to mana fixing no matter what colors we have. So that's good to have. Cool Wrath Mystic. I'll be reading out the cards as I get them because I don't know what any of these cards are or what they do. Cool Wrath Mystic, 2 and a blue for a 2/4 elemental wizard. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, this creature gets +2/+1 and gains vigilance until end of turn. Ooh, I got like 1 or 2 of these cards in my set last night, but I really like the cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater. Final Fantasy had this as a blue-red thing, but like, it was non-creature spell, and it made it really awkward because you had to play really big 4-mana spells, but not all of them were great. And some of them were kind of like spells that were technically creatures, but like it was a 4-mana 3/3 and you didn't really want to cast that. But spells in general lets us play like the bigger stuff while also having like we can actually just play creatures. Like we can play a 3-drop into a 4-drop into a 5-drop. We can still curve out, and this is still getting us benefit. So I like the Cool Wrath Mystic. Blue. Tributary Vaulter is 2 and a white for a 1/3 Merfolk Warrior. Flying whenever this creature becomes tapped, another target Merfolk creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. It's fine. It's a good Merfolk. It's a flyer. 3 mana, 1/3 is a slightly worse Windrake. But giving other Merfolk +2/+0, it could give, if you have 2 of these, they can, like, they both get it, so that's a 2/3/3s coming in. Good and limited. I don't think we'll be playing it in any decks that we're trying to build here. Chaos Spewer. I love the names in this set. There's so many really fun names in this set. 2 and a black-red hybrid. This set, like, I was going to release the hybrid video before we got Lorwyn eclipsed, but I guess I have to add an addendum to that video now where we go over all the hybrid cards in this set. Chaos Spewer is a 5/4 Goblin Warlock. When it enters, you may pay 2 extra mana. If you don't, you blight 2. So it's either a 5/4 for 3, and you put 2/-1/1 counters on something, or it's a 5 mana 5/4, which is fine. It's okay. But we're probably not going to play it. But I do like the blight mechanic. If you're making your opponent blight, you're killing their creatures off. If you're blighting your own stuff, you get counters, and you can probably use those if that's what you're putting in your deck. So I like it a lot. Kolrath Zealot, to go with the Mystic, is a 5 and a red for a 6/5 Elemental Warrior. When it enters, you exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card, and it's got basic land cycling for 1 and a red. You always love the basic land cyclers in these sort of limited formats. And early on, when we were playing in our like Progmander deck builds, I really do like having at least a couple of these if we're in these colors. So having the basic land cyclers is pretty good. Vile Bog, like this set just has plenty of names that are just fun to say. Vile Boggart, 1 black for a 1/1 Goblin Assassin. When this creature dies, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. So it's fine. It's like the classic 1-drop in limited. I don't think we'll be playing it, but it's fine. Wildvine Pummeler, 6 and a green for a 6/5 Goblin Berserker, a Giant Berserker, not a Goblin Berserker. It has Vivid, which is the new thing for this set. It costs 1 less to cast for each color among permanents you control. So if you manage to get all 5 colors out before you play this guy, it's a 2 mana 6/5 for Reach and Trample, which is very powerful. Now, if you can do that, it depends on how much hybrid you have and how much mana fixing you have. But it's something they want to push in this limited format, so you can do it. It just requires a specific sort of setup. Cinder Spike is 1 red for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may blight 1. It deals 2 damage to target creature, or it deals 4 to that creature if this spell's additional cost was paid. That's probably going to be pretty good in Standard, actually. Dealing 4 damage to something does a lot. It kills a lot of stuff in Standard right now, as does like a normal Shock does. So I think this is pretty powerful, actually. I'm going to turn down the mic a little bit, because I think it looks like I'm a little loud. I'm peaking the mic a little bit. Boop. Thought-Weft Imbuer is our first uncommon. 3 and a white for a Kithkin Advisor. 0/5. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +X/+X until end of turn to the number of Kithkin you control. If you have a lot of Kithkin, it's good. If you don't, it's bad. That's just kind of the end of it. Shimmerwild's Growth, 1 and a green for an enchantment aura. As it enters, you choose a color. Enchanted land is the chosen color. As a note, like, just because something is a chosen color does not mean it taps for that color. For example, if you enchant a forest, it does not become an island. If you enchant a forest and you choose blue, it does not become a breeding pool, does not become a tropical island. It just is the color blue, and it's not colorless anymore. But whenever Enchanted Land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of the chosen color. So if you choose forest and you choose green, it's a green forest that also taps for an additional green. Very good if you're playing Vivid. If you're playing Vivid, it's really what they want you to do. Let's see if I can get all of the piles in the vertical shot. There we go. Gut Splitter Gang. 3 and a black for a 6/6 Goblin Berserker. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may blight 2. If you don't, you lose 4 life. I really do like these sorts of effects where they are like really big cards that have a really big downside that you kind of get to choose if you benefit from or not. Our first rare is Bloodline Bidding. 6 black for a sorcery with Convoke. You choose a creature type, return all creature cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ooh, that's a really good effect, especially in a sort of Kindred style deck like that in this format. I understand they call it Typal nowadays. I'm not calling it Typal because I think that's dumb. I really like Kindred. I like, why don't we just call it Kindred? But no. This is really powerful. It's just you do have to have a mass of a certain creature type. So if we open Marwyn, she really likes fairies and elves. This can do either one of those. And our foil is Morkant's Eyes. 1 green for a Kindred Enchantment elf. This means this is a elf card, even if it's not like an elf creature, or like if you need to behold an elf, you can behold this card. Beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1, 4 green, sacrifice this enchantment, create X 2/2 black and green elf creature tokens, where X is the number of elf cards in your graveyard. If we get a lot of elves, this card's very good. If we don't, it's not that great. Got a plains, normal old plains, and a Kithkin elf. Double-sided tokens are the best thing that they've added to this game. I will be real. Double-sided tokens are really good. Alright, second pack. Wild Unraveling. It's your classic counterspell asterisk. It's blue. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you blight 2 or pay 1, and you counter target spell. It's a counterspell, and counterspells are always okay. But it's probably going to be a cancel more often than not. Feisty Spikeling is 1 in a red-white hybrid, 2/1 changeling. During your turn, this creature has first strike. Very classic, easy 2-drop. Probably not playable in like higher constructed formats, but it's a workhorse. It does what it needs to do. And it is a workhorse because it is a horse, because it's a changeling. Ferdok Core, 3 mana for a Kindred Artifact Shapeshifter, which means it's a Shapeshifter, but it also has Changeling, so it's every creature type. You can tap to add 1 mana of any color, and for 4 mana, this becomes a 4/4 artifact creature until end of turn. Unlike a lot of other manoliths, I think this one's a lot better, because if you don't have anything to do, it becomes a creature. Worst case scenario. It's fine. It did kill people in pre-release last night. It was really good, but I think this is fine. I hope I don't get hit off shorts because I said kill. It's in the game mechanics, so I don't know. Boggart Prankster is 1 in a red for a 1/3 Goblin Warrior. Whenever you attack, target attacking goblin you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If you're playing goblins, this card's probably fine. Dawn's Light Archer, 2 and a green for a 4/2 Flash Reach Elf Archer. There is a, if I remember right, there is a power 4 or greater sub-theme in red-green, I think. One of my favorite cards to say in this set is also 4 power and a changeling. But being able to have a 4 power creature with Flash lets this trade up very easily. This kind of splashes into the... I do know fairies have like a blue-black kind of Flash sub-theme. So that's a really nice card. Another Cool Wrath Zealot. We're already getting duplicates. Runaway Together is a classic. We saw it in Throne of Eldraine. Not Throne of Eldraine. No, it was Throne of Eldraine. The first one. 1 in blue for an instant. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. I do still like the Bloomburrow version above all, but hey, I like this one a lot. Moonlit Lamenter, 2 and a white for a 2/5 Treefolk Cleric. It enters with a -1/-1 counter on it, so it's a 1/4. 1 and a white, remove a counter from this creature, draw a card, activate only as a sorcery. This is a really solid card for the, like if you're blighting a lot, they have a lot of this like sub-theme of cards that want to be blighted onto, and this is one of those. It's really good. Drawing a card for 2 mana, not bad. Lys Alana Dignitary, 1 green for a 2/3 Elf Advisor. As an additional cost to cast this, you gotta behold an elf or pay 2. So you gotta find an elf and show it to your opponent. And it taps to add 2 green, but only if there's an elf card in your graveyard. So it's a 2-mana 2/3 that can add a lot of mana as long as you're playing, as long as you've got elves in your graveyard. Lasting Tarfire, 1 and a red for an enchantment. At the beginning of each instep, if you put a counter on a creature this turn, this enchantment deals 2 damage to each opponent. Now, this is one of those build-around uncommons for limited that would probably be like, meh, unless you get like a full volume of it, but there is a lot of blight in this set. If you can get a couple of these in your like draft pile, this card can go very hard. Mud Button Curse Tosser, 1 black for a 2/1 Goblin Warlock. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you behold a goblin or pay 2 mana. This creature can't block. When this creature dies, destroy target creature an opponent controls with power 2 or less. Very, very powerful card. Really good card. And our first rare and our first legendary that we can build around is Sig Wanderwine Wisdom. 1 blue for a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard, can't be blocked. Whenever it enters or transforms into Sig Wanderwine Wisdom, target creature gets whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, draw a card until end of turn. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay a white. If you do, transform Sig. Sig is very powerful, but he transforms into Sig Wanderbrine Shield. Also can't be blocked. Whenever it transforms, her creature control gains protection from each creature until each color until end of turn. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay blue. If you do, transform Sig. He's really good at getting other creatures in, and on his front side gets an Ophidian effect for himself, I think. Target creature, yeah, can be anything. So either you're dealing 2 damage constantly. He's a really powerful threat. I don't know if we can build around him now, though, but I will put them off to the side. I'm running out of room to put cards. And our foil is another Thoughtweft Imbuer. Got a fancy full art forest and a goblin treefolk. Where was I? I put all those over here. Okay, moving on. 3 packs in. I don't know if chat's working. I assume it's not, because I assume a lot of people are just kind of chilling out and watching. But I don't know. I don't know how YouTube streaming works. This is I don't think it's my first time. I think I did it before. But this is my first time, doing it in this whole vertical orientation. And also, it's been a while. Changeling Wayfinder, 3 and a 3 mana for a 1/2 Shapeshifter Changeling. When it enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Very solid effect, very solid. Like, you want one of these in limited, especially in sealed a lot, because you want to try to splash all of your good cards, so you want to have a 3-color deck a lot of the time, and cards like Changeling Wayfinder help you get there. Other than that, it's kind of meh. Really low stats for what you're getting. Gravelgill Scoundrel, 1 blue for a 1/1 Merfolk Rogue with Vigilance. Whenever this creature attacks, you may tap another untapped creature you control. If you do, this creature can't be blocked this turn. Really solid effect, especially if you can get like any equipment or any counters on this card. Very good. Another Tributary Vaulter. Tend the Springs, 2 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card, put on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And that sort of effect is kind of meh, so typically the Rampant Growth effects cost 2 mana, so when it's 3 mana, they need an extra effect to add on to it. This one has, if you have 7 or more lands and or treefolk, so if you have some treefolk out in the field, could get a little bit better. You create a 3/4 green treefolk with reach. Not bad. Burning Curiosity, 2 and a red for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may blight 1. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. If this spell's additional cost was paid, which is putting a -1/-1 counter on something you control, you exile 3 cards instead, and you can play those until the end of your next turn. Not bad. Blight Rot. Another one of those like Magic card or Metal Band cards that could be both. I don't know if Blight Rot's a Metal Band. 2 and a black for an instant, put 4 -1/-1 counters on target creature. Oddly enough, in this set, sometimes you might want to put 4 -1/-1 counters on your own creature. But most of the time, you're probably using it to kill a 4/4. Guilt Leaf's Embrace, 2 and a green for a flash enchantment aura. When it enters, target creature, enchanted creature gets trampled and indestructible until end of turn. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0. We've seen these sort of like flash green enchantments that give something when it comes into play, and a really small effect, but typically you just want it for the... It's like a combat trick that does a little something extra. And important for this set, it's a green permanent for Vivid. So if you need a green one, there you go. Protective Response is 2 and a white for an instant Convoke. Convoke, I don't think I went over this. You can tap creatures as though they were mana to cast it. So if you have like 3 white creatures and you don't have any untapped mana, you could just tap all those creatures and cast the response. It destroys target attacking or blocking creature. Attacking or blocking is a little bit of a rough restriction, but it's still a 3-mana removal spell that can sometimes just be free, so it's not that bad. We got another Morkant's Eyes, unfortunately not foil, so strictly worse. Sting the Slinger, 2 and a red for a 3/3 Goblin Warrior, 1 and a red tap Blight 1, so that means you gotta put a -1/-1 counter on one of your things. This creature deals 2 damage to each opponent. You're probably using it because it's 3 mana 3/3, but hey, sometimes they're gonna be at 2 and you go, take 2 damage. Creekwood Safe Right, 1 and a black for a 5/5 Elf Warrior. Comes in with 3 -1/-1 counters on it at the beginning of your instep if there is an Elf creature card in your graveyard and this creature has a -1/-1 counter on it. Remove a -1/-1 counter on this creature. This could just be a 2 mana 5/5, and that is very disgusting. As a reminder, I think it's Llanowar Elves is in this format. Yeah, I don't think it's Elvish Mystic anymore. I think they went back to Llanowar Elves. Ooh, we got our first Shockland in Temple Garden. Forest Plains, so it can tap for a green or a white. And if it, you can pay 2 life when it enters. If you don't, it enters tapped. Very good card. Enables a lot of cool strategies because it's a dual land. You gotta play dual lands. And our foil is a Noggle Robber, 1 and 2 Gruul hybrid mana. So it's a 1 in either a red-green twice. It's a 3/3 Noggle Rogue. The Noggles are kind of like weird donkey people. I don't know if you can see it in the foil that well, but like they're like weird donkey people. When it enters or dies, you make a treasure token. Very powerful. And another full art forest. I really like these full art forests. And another goblin, but this time it's a fairy on the backside. We gotta open up the one with cute women on it because I like women. Yeah. First off, we've got Stoic Grove Guide, 4 and a green-black hybrid for a 5/4 elf druid. 1 black-green, exile this card from your graveyard, make a 2/2 black and green elf creature token, but only as a sorcery. It's fine. It's big. It's an elf that you want in the graveyard as opposed to a lot of elves that are probably going to get there when they die, but this card you want in the graveyard. Blossom Bind is 1 and a blue for an enchantment aura. When it enters tap enchanted creature, can't become untapped and can't have counters put on it. You'd think the can't have counters put on it wouldn't be that great because a lot of the things in this set are -1/-1 counters, but a lot of things in this set benefit from having -1/-1 counters, so no counters is pretty good. Appeal to Erdu. 3 and a white for an instant with Convoke. 1 or 2 target creatures get +1/+2/+1 until end of turn. It's fine. It's a decent combat trick. Can really blow your opponent out. With Convoke, you really need to make sure that you're counting your opponent's untapped creatures. Midnight Tilling, 1 and a green for an instant, mill 4 cards, and you can return a permanent card from among them to your hand. An important note, because I put a bunch of these in my pre-release deck without really knowing what they did, it is a permanent from among them, so it's only for the 4 milled cards. You can't just bring back anything. Tweeze, 2 red for an instant, deals 3 damage to any target, and then you may discard a card. If you do, you draw a card. Neat. It's like a lightning bolt and a lute attached to each other, but it's also 3 mana, which is kind of a lot. Moonglove Extractor, 2 and a black for a 2/1 elf warlock. Whenever this creature attacks, you draw a card and lose a life. Very solid effect. Bone Club Berserker, 3 and a red for a 2/4 Goblin Berserker. It gets +2/+0 for each other goblin you control. This card can get very big very fast. Just like on 3, there is a it's like a boggart auntie or something. It makes a 1/1 goblin. If you play this the very next turn and that's all you have done, it is a 6/4 for 4 mana. Then you play another goblin the next turn, it's an 8/4. This card is huge. It can get very big very quickly. Swat away 2 blue for an instant, cost 2 less. If a creature is attacking you, the owner of target spell or creature puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of their library. So the existence of this card, there's a cycle of cards in this set called Champions, which call back to the champion keyword from, I think it was original Lorwyn. I think that's when it came out first. And as an additional cost to cast them, you have to exile one of their type from your hand or from the field. These cards are why I don't like those, because blue decks are really going to want to play these cards because that's a 2 mana bounce spell effectively. And if they have 4 mana untapped and you go to cast a champion, you have lost 2 cards to their 1, and you've lost your board presence if it was a card from the field. It's just, I don't like the champions in limited. I know a lot of people like them, and like the high roll scenario is fantastic, but last night I was like in the middle of a top deck war with my opponent, and I top decked a champion, and then I looked at my empty board. It wasn't empty. I had a Goblin Berserker, and I look at my Elemental champion, and I'm like, I have lost this game. Oops. Swat away, good card. Kinsbale Aspirant. Kinsbale Aspirant. 1 white for a 2/1 Kithkin citizen. As you cost to cast a spell, you behold a Kithkin or pay 2. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Really solid effect. We've seen a lot of things similar to this, and they've been good and limited, so very good card. Vinebred Brawler, 2 and a green for a 4/2 Elf Berserker, must be blocked if able, and whenever it attacks another target elf you control, gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Good card for elves. If you're not playing elves, I probably wouldn't play this that much. It's 4/2 for 3. It's probably fine. Flame Breeder, 2 and a red for a 2/2 Elemental Bard. Tap to add 2 mana in any combination of colors, but only to cast elementals or activate abilities of elemental sources. If you're playing elementals, it's good. Ooh, our first mythic is Moon Shadow. 1 black for a 7/7 elemental with menace. Enters with 6 -1/-1 counters on it. Now you're like, why would I pay 1 black for a 1/1 with menace? Well, whenever 1 or more permanent cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, while this creature has a -1/-1 counter on it, remove a -1/-1 counter from this creature. So if you're milling cards, if you are I think if you sacrifice a treasure or a token, like, it technically does trigger this effect because it is a permanent card. No, permanent card. Tokens aren't cards. Caught myself. But if a permanent card gets put into a graveyard, it gets a counter removed, and this can very quickly become a 1 mana 7/7 with menace, and that is very strong. Especially if you can combo with cards that don't let you put -1/-1 counters on it, could be very powerful. Ooh, we got a foil alternate art Slumbering Walker. 4/7 Giant Warrior for 3 and 2 white. Enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it, so it enters as a 2/5, I think. At the beginning of your end step, you remove a counter from this creature. When you do, return target creature you control, target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very powerful and very pretty. Look. Ooh, shiny. And a full art plains and a Kithkin. I think we've hit all full art lands except for the first one. Yeah, we got 3 out of 4. That's not bad. Open the sesame. Silvergill Peddlers, 2 and a blue for a 2/3 Merfolk citizen. Wherever this creature becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard a card. Solid Merfolk, especially because they like being tapped. Another appeal to Airdew. Another Chaos Spewer. Barbed Bloodletter, 1 and a black for a flash artifact and equipment. When it enters attached to a creature you control, it gains Wither until end of turn. That's very good. It gets +1/+2 and equips for 2. That's not bad at all. It's a very good equipment. Safe Right Cavalry, 3 and a green for a 4/4 elf warrior. Can't be blocked by more than one creature, and if you pay 5, target elf gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Very solid limited card. Kind of expensive for doing anything beyond that, though. Gristle Glutton, 1 and a red for a 1/3 Goblin Scout. Tap to blight 1, discard a card. If you do, draw a card. If you have anything that benefits from having -1/-1 counters on it, very good card. Heirloom Auntie, 2 and a black for a 4/4 Goblin Warlock. Enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. And whenever another creature you control dies, surveil 1, then remove a -1/-1 counter from this creature. Notable effect, even if you don't have counters on it, you do still surveil. So worst case scenario, you're just surveilling 1, which you'd rather have to do because you're blighting onto this creature so that you're removing it constantly, but worst case scenario, you get a little bit of extra value when a creature dies. Rime Chill is 6 and a blue for an instant. Costs 1 less to cast for each color among permanents you control. Tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on each of them, draw a card. A lot of these Vivid cards, it's going to be if you don't have all 5 colors, they are not great. But if you do have all 5, 2 mana to do this is amazing. Also, I'd probably play 3 as well. 4 would be stretching a little bit, but these are never really costing their full 7 cost as long as you have a creature on the battlefield, typically. Encumbered Reejery, 1 and a white for a 5/4 Merfolk Soldier. Enters with 3 -1/-1 counters on it. And whenever this creature becomes tapped while it has a -1/-1 counter on it, remove a -1/-1 counter from it. So another one of those. This card kind of shows off what the Merfolk like doing. They like being tapped, and they like tapping themselves for Convoke and such. And those are the kind of cards you want to blight onto. Prisma Basher, 4 green for a 6/6 with Trample Elemental. Whenever it enters, up to X target creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. This just kills people. This will just kill people if you have a 5-color deck. Even if you have 3 colors, giving 3 things +3/+3, that's kind of crazy, actually. That's also a blue card. I don't know why I put it with the green cards. But Boulder Dash. I love this card because it's like Balderdash, but boulders. 1 red for a sorcery, deals 2 damage to any target and 1 damage to any other target. This killed a lot of things in pre-release. There's a lot of random 2 toughness things, and either getting to ping something else off for 1 or just dealing 1 to the dome is not that bad. Ooh, alternate art Spine Rock Tyrant. Look at that. Oh, look how pretty it is. 3 red for a 6/6 dragon with flying and wither. In case you didn't know what wither is, because I did kind of glance over it, wither means it deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. So it deals 6 and puts 6 -1/-1 counters on something. And then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with a single target, you may copy it. If you do, those spells gain wither. You may choose new targets for the copy. So either you're copying a removal spell, copying a damage spell that's now putting -1/-1 counters on something, or you're copying a pump spell. Now, remember, it is a single target. There's a lot of removal spells in this. This would not copy Boulder Dash, for instance, because this has 2 targets. There aren't as many single target things as you would think in this set. There's a lot of multiple targets. If you have a fight spell, you have to target this card and an opponent's thing, so that's 2 targets. But otherwise, this card's very powerful. Ooh, and a foil rare legendary, so we have another thing to build around. Sonar Innovative First Year, 2 blue-red hybrid. 2 and 2 blue-red hybrid. Goblin Sorcerer with Vivid. At the beginning of your first main phase, reveal cards from top of your library until you reveal X non-land cards where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. For each of those colors, you may exile a card of that color from among the revealed cards, then shuffle. You may cast the exiled card this turn. So if I'm reading this right, you are at minimum getting 2 non-land cards, and then you can choose one of each. So if just this guy's on the field, you get a blue card and a red card. Okay, so you reveal 6 cards, and there's 2 non-land cards. One of them needs to be a blue card, and one needs to be a red card. I think? Yeah. I think that's how that works. If you don't let me know. If that's not how that works, let me know, please, because that seems a little funky. He does seem like a vivid payoff more than anything else, but we could build around it. Like, you know, it kind of draws 2 cards. You just can't play that many artifacts. Also, we got a Spine and Rock Tyrant, and he plays well with Spine and Rock Tyrant. I'm just saying. Temporal Cleansing is 3 in a blue for a sorcery with Convoke. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it at the top. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it into their library second from the top or on the bottom. I think this is a card from Aftermath, actually, that got reprinted. Either Aftermath or March of the Machine, one of those two. Spiral into Solitude, 1 and a white for an enchantment aura. An enchanted creature can't attack or block, and you can pay 1 and a white. Blight 1, sacrifice this aura, exile enchanted creature. To blight 1, you gotta put a -1/-1 counter on something you control. Prideful Feastling, 2 and a black-white hybrid for a 2/3 changeling shapeshifter with lifelink. Not bad. 2/3s with lifelink are always pretty strong. Blocks any 2/2s that go around. If you can, like, it can survive 2 blights, which is not that bad. Having a big butt in this format is pretty powerful. Stratosaurus, 4 and a blue for a 3/5 elemental with flying. When it enters target creature, it gains flying until end of turn, and it basic land cycles for 1 and a blue. Really good card. Blighted Blackthorn seems like a really powerful card in general. 4 and a black for a 3/7 Treefolk Warlock. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may blight 2. If you do, you draw a card and lose 1 life. The fact that it can do this to itself a lot is pretty powerful. Also, it can just stack up to 7 -1/-1 counters on it, so if that's the route you're going down, it's also really strong. Another Safe Right Cavalry. Feed the Flames is 3 and a red for an instant, deals 5 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Another Barbed Bloodletter. Another Flame Braider. Silvergill Mentor is 1 in a blue for a 2/1 Merfolk Wizard. You gotta behold a merfolk or pay 2 to cast this spell. When it enters, you make a 1/1 white and blue merfolk creature token. A lot of tokens means the Convoke is a bit better. Also, just having tokens is not that bad. Klakan Festival, 2 and a white for a Kindred Enchantment Kithkin. Whenever this creature enters, create 2 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature tokens, and then 4 and a white, create a white and green Kithkin creature token. This is pretty powerful. Getting 2 tokens and then being able to keep recurring those is pretty strong. Champion of the Klakan. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's fun to say it that way. Klakan. 3 and a white for a 4/5 Kithkin Knight with Flash. As additional cost to cast a spell, you gotta behold a Kithkin and exile it. Other Kithkin get +1/+1, and when it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. So, as I said before, I'm not a huge fan of these in Limited. If you're building a Kithkin deck, you really want this card because it's very powerful. Flash +1/+1 to your entire board effectively, very strong. If you're doing this in Limited and you top deck this, I think you're going to be very sad. Because more often than not, they're just going to they're just going to counter it, or you're going to top deck it and not have a Kithkin on the board. Like, you can't really I think in draft it might be a little bit better because you can make sure you have a density of these effects. But especially in sealed, don't play these in sealed. In sealed you'll be very sad. And our foil is a Shine Striker, 4 blue for a 3/3 elemental flying. When it enters, you draw cards equal to the number of colors among permanents you control. So either it draws 1 card or up to 5 cards, which is very strong. You probably only want to play it if you can get like 3 cards? I think 3 cards would be like the sweet spot. I can drink some gamer subs, not sponsored. I just really like them. Gamer subs. An energy drink that I can have. I think we're on pack 6? Pack 6. Unexpected Assistance is 3 blue for an instant with Convoke. Draw 3 cards and discard a card. It's fine. It's okay. Shore Lurker, 3 and a white for a 3/3 Merfolk Scout with Flying. When it enters, you surveil 1. It's fine. It's got flying. It kills people. We got a Gangly. We're Gangly maxing. Gangly Stompling is a 2 and a red-green for a 4/2 shapeshifter with Changeling and Trample. I opened 3 of these in my pre-release kit last night, and I would play like 3 in a row, and I'd tell people I'm Gangly maxing. I love this card so much. It's just so funny. Also, he's showing defeat for free. I gotta censor those. How are the pulls so far? Well, EMX Mario, we've got nothing like spectacular. We opened up a Temple Garden and this really fancy Spine Rock Tyrant. But in terms of legendaries, we only really have 2. Sonar and Sig. So nothing really exceptional right now, but we're only like a little less than a third of the way through, I think. Another Blighted Blackthorn. Mist Meadow Council is 4 and a green for a 4/3 Kithkin Advisor. Costs 1 less to cast if you control a Kithkin. When it enters, you draw a card. Another Cinder Strike. A Bone Club Berserker. Ooh, a fancy Eclipsed Boggart. There's a cycle of these. 3 black-red hybrid mana for a 2/3 Goblin Scout. When it enters, you can look at the top 4 cards of your library and find a... it depends on what you're getting. What card are you hoping to pull? I don't know. I don't know that much about this set. A Bloom Tinder would be nice. I want the Marwyn. The Marwyn seems really cool. Oh, you can reveal... For this one, it's a Goblin because the black-red Kindred type is Goblin. And a Swamp or a Mountain. Notably, this is really cool because they know they have the Shocklands in here. It's Swamp or Mountain card, so it's not just a basic land. Good card. Speaking of good cards, Eclipsed Realms. It's a land. When it enters, choose Elemental, Elf, Fairy, Giant, Goblin, Kithkin, Merfolk, or Treefolk. Tapped, add a colorless mana, then you can tap to add 1 mana of any color, but only for the type you chose. It's not quite one of those, it's the one from... Oh no, I'm blanking. It's the one from Kamigawa that you just chose a type. I don't remember. But it's not as good as that, but it's what you've got for this set. Also, I don't know if my chat thing is showing off the entire chat. Oh, what is Progmander? It's just Commander. I'm glad you asked. So, Progmander is what I call, I guess it's like a challenge that I do. If you have seen Boxing League Commander before, where it's like limited, you open up a box and you build a Commander deck from it, and then you play against other people who have done the same. It's sort of like that, but instead of doing it with people who have done the same thing, I do it with anybody. But the difference is I'll take this box and I'll build a deck. Then for the next set that comes out, Ninja Turtles? I think it's Ninja Turtles. That did not sound good to say with my mouth. But when that set comes out, I'll open up a box on stream, probably just like this, and I will then build a deck out of that, but with these cards as well. So if I open like a 3-color Donatello, I guess, I don't know. My favorite's Michelangelo. If I open up a 3-color Michelangelo and it is a different deck that I kind of want to build with these cards as well, then I get to use those and we mix those together. And we do that through all of the sets throughout the year. And I try to play it on stream when I can. Ideally, what I would like to do in the future is get 3 other people together and do a sort of like Commander show where we all do that. But that's a bit of a pipe dream because I don't have the resources to do that, and it's a lot of time. I would have to do a lot of production value to it, and while it's a pipe dream, I can't, like, there's a lot of work that would need to go behind the scenes for that, but it's something that I am constantly working on in the background. Anyway, thank you for asking. Eclipsed Realms, good card. I'm calling a good pool in 3 packs. Okay, we're setting these 3 aside. We're gonna have this one be the last one. So Mario is calling that this pack will have a good pool. We will save that for later. Anyway, Twin Flame Travelers, 2 blue-red for a 3/3 elemental sorcerer with flying. If a triggered ability of another elemental you control triggers, it triggers an additional time. That's a really good card. But you need good elementals that have triggered abilities, which I don't know if we'll have a lot of. We have not opened that many right now. Our first rare is Deepway Navigator, blue-white for a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard with Flash. When it enters, untap each other. Ugh, that's powerful. As long as you attacked with 3 or more Merfolk this turn, Merfolk you control get +1/+0. Very good card. I do like how they're giving a lot of support for the not blue-green Merfolk now. I am wishing for the day that we get an official. I know there's a mystery event card of the Professor. That's a Bant Merfolk card, but I do wish that we would eventually get a Bant Merfolk Commander, but as it stands, we don't, and I think that's probably fine. Restrictions breed creativity and all that. Whoo! A Johnny Outland Chaperone. 1 white for a Johnny Planeswalker. You can +1 him to make a green and white Kithkin creature token. That's his +1. His -2 is deals 4 damage to each to target tapped creature. Then he can -8 to look at the top X cards of your library, or X is your life total. You may put any number of non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Jeez. What's my favorite commander deck I've built? Probably Myra. I really like how Myra plays. It's just, with Myra, the difficulty is finding like spells that people don't hate you for. But I do like the idea of you put spells under attractions and then you gamble to see if you get them again. If I had to choose something below that, it would probably be my Y'shtola deck. I just got here when you pulled a Johnny. I mean, hey, you joined in when it got good. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, how do I... Oh, I had the chat in top chat, not live chat. That's... Okay, thanks, YouTube. That's a lot of packs. Yeah. Also, but where is the chat box? Why is the chat... Why am I not seeing all the chat? Maybe I need to be on YouTube for that. Let's see if this works. Sorry for the delay. I am new to doing it like this. How do I YouTube? How do I do the YouTube? Don't ask me what I mean by that. Do I have to like be in... I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry, y'all. I have no idea what I'm doing. YouTube is weird, yeah. Is this only... Maybe it's not showing me the vertical stream chat? I don't know. I'll try... If I miss a message, let me know. But I will try to call out. You can YouTube. You can YouTube. How to YouTube. True. I'll need to do that later. Anyway, a Johnny's a really good card. Our foil is Aquatex Defenses. 1 and a blue for a flash enchantment. Enchant creature control, gets hexproof till end of turn, +1/+2. We've seen plenty of these effects. It's a good card, but we've seen this plenty of times. And another full art. I think the full arts in this set are a little bit more common, which I am okay with. I like the full art lands. All right, pack number 1 in the Mario callouts. As a reminder, this pack has the good pool, according to Mario. Mario saves princesses. You know he knows what he's talking about. Timid Shield Bearer is 1 and a white for a 2/2 Kithkin Soldier, 4 and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. We've seen this effect a lot of times in Limited, and it's fine. I love the full art lands and Avatar True. They are so good, honestly. We're another Gangly Stompling. We're Gangly maxing. Unexpected Assistance. Great Forest Druid, 1 and a green for a 0/4 Treefolk Druid. Taps add 1 mana of any color. We've seen a lot of effects like this, but typically they don't have as big of butts as this. So it's probably really good to blight onto. Not bad. Brambleback Brute, speaking of cards that are good to blight onto, 2 and a red for a 4/5 Giant Warrior. Comes in with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. But you can pay 1 and a red to remove a counter from this creature. Target creature can't block. This card kills people to death. I did it in pre-release a lot. Auntie Sentence, 1 and a black for a sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land permanent card from it. That player discards that card. Target creature gets -2/- till end of turn. Very powerful. First pickable card, honestly, I would think, in Limited. Gallant Foul Knight. 3 and a white for a 3/4 Kithkin Knight. When it enters, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Kithkin creatures also get first strike until end of turn. Very good if you're playing Kithkin. And not bad if you're playing anything else as well. Glisterbairn, 2 and 3 green-blue hybrid for a 1/4 oof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, it has Vivid. Another target creature you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Note it says another. If they don't have another creature, this card's kind of dead in the water. I'll note, because I wasted a removal spell on this last night at pre-release. Boldweir Aggressor. Giant woman, a giant woman, giant woman. Giant Warrior, double strike, 2/5. Other giants you control have double strike. Oh god, that's actually crazy. Just double strike in general is really powerful, and giving your changelings double strike is very good. Like, if you are gangly maxing and you give this 4/2 with trample double strike, that's really good. That's a good card. That's a good card. This set, I love giant women. Me too, Mario. I also love giant women. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. This set has so many cards that I love to say. Noggle the Mind. 1 and a blue for a flash enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a colorless Noggle with base power and toughness 1/1. Note, it makes it colorless, so it does really mess with their Vivid. Flock Imposter is 2 and a white for a 2/2 flash flyer. When it enters, return up to 1 other target creature you control to its owner's hand. So at worst, it's a flash 3 mana 2/2 flyer. That makes 3 of us. True. So I have another one of my favorite decks. I built this one, and I don't know how good it is, but it's really fun to do. I call it Fleecebane Lion.deck because it's Karametra, and I have cards like Flock Imposter where you play them at flash speed, and you bounce another creature to your hand, and then you do that again over and over and over again while your Karametra's out, so that you keep ramping, and then you play like giant creatures and X spells. Anyway, I like Flock Imposter. Good card. Scuzzback Scrounger, 1 and a red for a 3/2 Goblin Warrior. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may blight 1. If you do, make a treasure token. Probably like one of the most playable of this effects in like Commander because treasure tokens are good, but hey, Good card. Thought-Left Lieutenant, green and a white for a 2/2 Kithkin soldier. Whenever this creature or another Kithkin you control enters, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. Solid card. And unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, but have y'all looked at, like, I think a lot of people focus on the full art lands because they are very pretty and you get to see more of the art, but, like, the art on these, like, regular basic lands is so pretty too. Like, it's nothing fancy because you can't see all of it because half of it's by, like, the regular land text, but, like, the art is just, the art in Magic the Gathering is just so beautiful. Also, we got the best card in Magic, this blank card. It can be anything. Anything you want. Boop. We have a Glamourmite, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 Fairy Rogue, flash flying. Whenever it enters, choose one. You tap a creature, or you untap a creature. Good. She's live and not on Twitch this time. Yeah, Smite Lord. I don't see you. Every Magic card is awesome, so true. Why is YouTube not showing me both chats? Actually, what is the chat box doing? Where does the chat box, where does it cite things? It's not telling me. Okay. Anything. Oh boy, I can't wait to make it a goth. Make it a goth muscular woman. True. So true. I don't know why it's not showing me both chats. Oh well. I'm sorry if I miss anything. I will figure that out later. Sun Dappled Celebrant for white for a 5/6 Treefolk Cleric with Convoke and Vigilance. A solid Convoke card. Just make a lot of tokens and play it. Foraging Wickermaw. 2 mana for a 1/3 Scarecrow. Whenever it enters, you surveil 1. You can pay 1 mana, add 1 mana of any color. This creature becomes that color until end of turn. Ooh. That is an interesting thing on this effect. If you're playing Vivid, you probably want this card because 1, it's colorless. 2, it can be anything. Any color you want. Another Temporal Cleansing. Another Bile Vial Boggart. Another Great Forest Druid. Another Feed the Flames. Scarblade's Malice is 1 black for an instant. Target creature you control gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, create a 2/2 black and green elf creature token. We've seen this effect before. It's probably a little bit better because elves want to trade aggressively because they like their stuff being in the graveyard. But it's not that great. Pommeler for Hires, 4 green, 4/4 Giant Mercenary, Vigilance, Reach, Ward 2. When it enters, you can gain X life, where X is the greatest power among giants you control. Giants, gain life. Good card. A lot of keywords for a 4/4. Another Thought-Left Lieutenant. Puka's Eye, 2 generic mana for an artifact. When it enters, you draw a card, choose a color. This artifact becomes the chosen color. Then you can pay 3, tap to draw a card, but only if there are 5 colors among permanents you control. It's okay. Ooh, we got a 3-color legend. Doran, Besieged by Time. 1 and white, black, and green. 1 white, black, and green for a 0/5 Treefolk Druid. Each creature spell you cast with toughness greater than its power costs 1 less to cast. Whenever a creature you control attacks or blocks, it gets +X/+X until in turn where X is the difference between its power and its toughness. And we have opened a decent amount of Treefolk. I want to say opening many more allies eventually for my ally avataring deck. Well, you know, changelings are allies. Just saying. Anyway, Doran's good. And we're still gangly maxing! But have you pulled the new Giant Lady? I don't know if I've pulled the new Giant Lady, but I have pulled a Giant Lady. Another Giant Woman. If it's a legendary, I have not pulled it, no. I will note, for anybody just joining the chat, I have no idea what's in this set. Like I have a vague knowledge. I do know of the the white red vampire that like copies activated abilities or triggered abilities, I think. Uh, but like I'm like, and I know the shocklands are in here. That's all I know for like certain. And also that we're gangly maxing. All right. Bree Stout Arm. Okay, so now I see Smite Lord in the other chat. Smite Lord, did you go to a different chat, or is YouTube just not showing me? Wait, hold on. Got it. I have found the normal live chat. Where were you before? I'm not asking, like... I'm not asking to, like, harass or anything. I'm just trying to figure out why it's not showing me the whole chat. I have found the normal live chat. Like, were you somewhere else before? Or is, like, because I'm streaming in both places, is it making things weird? I don't know. I will figure that out later. Anyway, I was in the vertical live. Oh, okay. So if you're in the vertical live stream, it won't show me the chat. I will need to figure out how to make that not how that works, because like when you're scrolling through shorts. That's weird. I'm gonna fix that later. That will be fixed for next time. But we've got the Mario Blessed Pack. Mario said something good is in here. So let's see if he's right. Reluctant Downguard? Downguard? 2 and a white for a 4/4, enters with 2/-1/1 counters on it. It's a Kithkin soldier. Whenever another creature you control enters while this creature has a -1/-1 counter on it, remove a -1/-1 counter from the... So it's just a 3-mana 4/4. This card seems really good. Stalactite Dagger, 2 mana for an artifact equipment. When it enters, you make a 1/1 shapeshifter creature token that is all types. Gets +1/+1 and is all creature types. Equips for 2. Not bad. Another Gravelgill Scoundrel. Assert Perfection, 1 green for a sorcery. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Deals damage equal to its power up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. Gristle Glutton, another one of those. Another Scarblade's Malice, another Heirloom Auntie. Voracious Tome Skimmer. So many good words. They just feel good in the mouth. Good mouthfeel. 3 blue-black hybrid mana for a 2/3 fairy rogue with flying. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you may pay 1 life. If you do, you draw a card. Leaf Fuller Breed is really good Boros, really cool Boros commander. I would imagine the giants are really cool. The giants just need like a little bit of an extra benefit. We'll see about her. Doolin Weaver, 1 green for a 2/1 Kithkin Druid. When it enters, if you control 3 or more creatures, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. This card is pretty powerful. Even just by itself, sometimes you will just have 3 creatures. As a note, it's 3 or more. It does not say 3 or more other creatures, so if you have 2 and you play this guy, you get a card back. Boggart Mischief, 2 and a black for a Goblin. Goblin Enchantment. Whenever it enters, you may blight 1. If you do, create 2 1/1 black and red Goblin creature tokens. And whenever Goblin you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This card is very powerful and will probably see play in a lot of Goblin decks. Goblins really like throwing themselves at the opponent. Pyrrhic Strike, 2 and a white. For an instant, as additional cost to cast a spell, you may blight 2. Choose 1, but if the additional cost was paid, you can choose both instead. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Destroy target creature with mana value 3 or greater. Ooh, that's not bad, especially if you have a way to do something with that blight. I need to finish up my list first since she's the commander for my resolution. Oh, neat. We've got a Harmonized Crescendo, 4 blue for an instant with Convoke. Choose a creature type. Draw a card for each permanent you control of that type. Again, really solid. If you have a lot of a certain creature type, this card is really powerful. All right. a foil Temporal Cleansing, a Full Art Forests. Oh, Mario was right. It is a really good card. It's any card you want in Magic the Gathering ever. Now, I will note, I did sort of cheat Mario out of that. Technically, I think this one would have been the actual third pack. I just picked the one with the Pretty Woman on it to open first. So, let's see if he was actually right. My new resolution was to build a commander deck every month with a commander that I've never used in the 99 or played against. Ooh. That could be difficult. Hopefully, Adjust Glasses, my Commander 4-on-1 series would help you out on that, because I have reviewed a lot of commanders. Mischievous Sneakling, 1 in a blue-black hybrid for a 2/2 changeling with flash. Not bad, especially with the kind of fairies sub-theme of wanting to cast spells at instant speed. Another Temporal Cleansing, another Feisty Spikeling. Surly Farrier, 1 in a green for a 2/2 Kithkin Citizen. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains Vigilance until end of turn. Vigilance is really powerful. Pretty Woman on the pack, hard to resist. It's hard to resist Pretty Woman for me in general, honestly. Cool Wrath Zealot. Anti-Sentence again. River Guard's Reflexes, 1 and white for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains first strike until end of turn. Untap it. Unfortunately, I think I have to say this is not a Feather card. Feather has kind of like... Feather has gotten a lot of good cards recently, and I think we're starting to get to the point where we can't make the cut on stuff like this. But it is still a consideration. Wretched Wretch. 2 and a black for a 4/2 goblin. When it dies, if it had a -1/-1 counter on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control and it loses all abilities? That's really good if you're trying to blight onto things. Wanderwine Farewell, 5 blue for a Kindred Sorcery Merfolk with Convoke. Return 1 or 2 target non-land permanents to its owner's hands. Then if you control a Merfolk, create a 1/1 white and blue Merfolk creature token for each permanent returned to its owner's hand this way. That's a lot of tokens. Kithkeeper, 6 white for a 3/3 elemental. When this creature enters, you create X 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature tokens, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. You can tap 3 untapped creatures you control. This creature gets +3/+0 and gains flying until end of turn. Not bad. Luminolusk. Luminolusk, because it's like a mollusk. 3 and a green for a 2/4 elemental with Death Touch. When it enters, you gain life equal to the number of colors among permanents you control. Not bad. Adept Water Shaper is 2 and a white for a 3/4. Other tapped creatures you control have Indestructible? That's really good. That's a really good card. Like, other tapped creatures, period. Like, it's not tapped Merfolk, it's just tapped creatures. And a foil Anti-Sentence, and an island and a token. So I will say, it might not be a value pool, but I think Mario was correct. This card is pretty insane. That's a good pool, especially for Progmander. But as we all know, this is the real third pack. Rooftop Percher is a 5-mana 3/3 with flying that's a changeling. Whenever it enters, exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards, you gain 3 life. A 5-mana 3/3 flyer is fine. The deck's name is Bree and her equally large roommate Kalimne. I like that. Another Stratosaur. Gold Meadow Nomad, 1 white mana for a 1/2 Kithkin Scout. 1 white mana, exile this card from a graveyard. Create a 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature token. Boop. Lace Elena Informant, 1 green for a 3/1 Elf Scout. When it enters or dies, surveil 1. Solid elf card. You want the cards in your graveyard, it's fine. Cinder Strike. Boggart Prankster. Summit Sentinel, 1 blue for a 1/3. When it dies, draw a card. It's an elemental. Solid, it's fine. Another Noggle the Mind. Persona. What is this? Personify. Persona! 1 and a white for an instant. Exile a target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Create a 1/1 colorless shapeshifter creature token with changeling. Ooh. That's really powerful. Being able to do that on anything, that seems really good. Virulent Emissary, 1 green for a 1/1 elf assassin with death touch. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. Solid life gain card. Sizzling Changeling is 2 and a red for a 3/2 shapeshifter changeling. Whenever it dies, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You can play that card. Solid card. Kinscare Sentry. 1 white for a 2/2 with significant soldier with first strike and lifelink. Whenever this creature attacks, you may put a creature card with mana value X or less onto the battlefield from your hand onto the battlefield attacking, where X is the number of attacking creatures you control. Ooh. That's not bad either. It's a really good card. A foil Stoic Rogue Guide, and is this a foil island? Nope, just a normal island. The light is a little weird, so I can't always tell if something's foil or not. Anyway, Pretty Women. Priorities. Yeah. Another Evolving Wilds. Flaring Cinder, 1 and 2 blue-red hybrid for a 3/2 elemental sorcerer. When this creature enters, and whenever you cast a spell mana value 4 or greater, you can discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Not bad. Another Timid Shield Bearer. Crossroads Watcher, 2 and a green for a 3/3 Kitkin Ranger with Trample. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Not bad. Flame Chain Mauler, 1 red for a 2/2 Elemental Warrior. You can pay 1 in red. This creature gets +1/+0 and gains menace until end of turn. I love these little sort of like pseudo fire breathing that also gives evasion. Love those for limited. Dream Caesar, 3 and a black for a 3/2 Flying Fairy Rogue. Whenever it enters, you may blight 1. If you do, each opponent discards a card. Not bad. Also, I did not put this in the right place. Boop. Another heirloom auntie. Perfect Intimidation, 3 and a black for a sorcery. Choose 1 or both. Target opponent exiles 2 cards from their hand. Remove all counters from target creature. Seems solid. Impolite Entrance. Target creature gains trample and haste until end of turn. Draw a card. Feather card spotted. It draws a card and targets 1 creature. Let's go. Unwelcome Sprite, 1 blue. Fairy Rogue, flying. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, Surveil 2. Ooh. Surveil 2 is very powerful. I like that a lot. Burdened Stoneback, 1 white for a 4/4. Enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. You can pay 1 white, remove a counter from this creature. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn, but only as a sorcery. That's interesting. Proactive, indestructible? That's not bad. Ooh. Alt Art Grubs Command. 3 black-red Kindred Sorcery Goblin. You could choose any 2 of these. Number 1, create a token that's a copy of target goblin you control. There's a lot of good goblins in this game. Creatures target player controls get +1/+1 and gain haste until end of turn. Destroy target artifact or creature. Target player mills 5 cards and puts each goblin card milled this way into their hand. Target player too. You can target an opponent for this if you wanted to. That's not bad. That's a really good card. What's your favorite card from the Avatar set if you have one from that set? Do I have a favorite card from Avatar? I'd have to think about it for a bit, but off the top of my head, the Fire Lord Azula was really cool. I liked the interaction between you had to really work to get like the big fancy cards and play them at like instant speed, and it gives my favorite card, Quicken. I really like the shenanigans that Quicken can get into. It gives like that sort of play style really a lot of legs. If I recall, I really did like the Waterbender's Ascension as well. because it was like a better coastal piracy, kinda. Those are the only ones off the top of my head that I can remember. I also like the lessons, just in general. I like the lessons a lot. I like the "it'll quench ya" being a quench. That was really fun. Anyway, Grub's coming. Good card. Run away together. Good card. More packs. I think we're about halfway through now. We don't have that many legendaries to build around. Wanderbrine Preacher, 1 white for a 2/2 Merfolk Cleric. Whenever it becomes tapped, you gain 2 life. I will say it again. These kind of cards in Limited become very powerful. Just things that when they're tapped, they do a thing. Another Stoic Grove Guide. Another Glamourmite. Another Shore Lurker. Another Crossroads Watcher. I don't think we've seen this card. Flamekin Guildweaver, 3 and a red for a 4/3 elemental sorcerer with trample. Whenever it enters, you make a treasure token. That's fine. Another Dream Caesar. Wary Farmer, 1 and 2 green-white hybrid mana for a 3/3 Kithkin Citizen. Beginning of your end step, if another creature entered, you can surveil 1. The only farm hands I need are my own. True. Pestered Whaleguard, 3 and a blue for a 3/2 Merfolk Soldier. Whenever it becomes tapped, you make a 1/1 blue and black fairy creature token with flying. A very good, like, this card is very powerful. Praying for Giant Women Commander, so true. Give me the Giant Women. Anyway, this card's very good. As it stands right now, I think like the best deck that we can build, honestly, from like what we have so far, is a Sig Merfolk deck, which someone pinged the professor. But yeah. Chomping a Changeling, 3 and a green for a 1/2 Shapeshifter Changeling. Whenever it enters, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. Really solid card, especially in Commander. Giant Fall, 1 red for an instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. Or destroy target artifact. Ooh. Brigid Klakan's Heart, 2 and a white for a 3/2 Kithkin's Warrior. When it enters or transforms into Brigid Klakan's Heart, create a 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature token. At the beginning of your first main phase, you can pay a green. If you do, you transform her into Brigid Dawn's Mind. Legendary creature Kithkin Soldier, 3/2. Tap adds X green or X white, where X is the number of other creatures you control. And then you can flip it over back into her at the beginning of the next turn. Hello. Krazim. I'm sorry. Your name has a lot of M's in it. Crazy Mammals. Crazy Mammals. Okay, I got there. And our foil is a Warian Torchmaster, 1 and a red for a 2/2 Goblin Warrior. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you can blight 1. If you do, target creature gains haste until end of turn. Solid card. I never got to do this in pre-release last night, but it was fine. 2/2 for 2 is always good. I think the honest work card from Avatar of just, I'm taking that card, it scares me, in turn have a colorless mana rock. That card scares me. Please get it out of here. Leave. Go away. I don't like it. I don't like goblins. That guy is a not good guy anymore. I don't think he was a good guy to be. Anyway, Reluctant Downguard. Got another one of those. Another Rooftop Percher. Another Coolwrath Mystic. Another Wildvine Pummeler. Another Flame Chain Mauler. Another Barbed Bloodletter. Another Gallant Falonite. Crib Swap is back. I played in the pre-release and got some goodies. My promo was the Coward Giant, and the pity pack I got had Hexing Squelcher, and got Morcant from someone for free. Yeah, Morcant seems really good. I do think it was very funny that they reprinted the elf enchantment from Lorwyn that went infinite with her. I'm just saying, get wrecked, etc. But that card's very good. I'm glad your pre-release was fun. Crib Swap is 2 and a white for a Kindred instant Shapeshifter with Changeling. Exile target creature. Its controller gets a 1/1 colorless Shapeshifter creature token with Changeling instead. Oddly enough, in this set, this is not a free removal spell. because if you're playing a Kindred deck, getting a Shapeshifter in response, like, yes, you would prefer to have your giant thing, but hey, having a 1/1 that's any creature type can fill in some gaps. Had a guy try and insist that his Krinko deck was only bracket. Krinko players, am I right? Thirst for Identity. 2 and a blue for an instant. Draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card. The deck I made was 4-color giant with Kithkin. Did it work out at least? Oh yeah, did you get some teammate T-card in your pre-release or something people did? I didn't, and I don't think anyone at my store did. Nobody popped off if they did. But yeah, Magic has done this before. I think in Innistrad, Rootborn Defenses from Return to Ravnica was just in some people's packs. I don't know if this was on purpose, but they have done this sort of thing before. Anyway, this is the best Thirst card in my opinion, because everybody plays creatures to some extent, and you're gonna have them. This is just a draw 3, discard 1, most of the time. Yeah, scaring my opponents, but didn't any matches. Aw, that's always rough. Where you're like, big monster, and then like you don't win, you don't get there. I had that with the Final Fantasy pre-release. I played Giant Cactuar deck. Did not draw the Jumbo Cactuar once that night. Pitiless Fist is 3 and a green for an enchantment aura. Enters creature, enchanted creature fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls, and an enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Not bad. Goat Nap is back. Let's go. 2 and a red for a sorcery. Gain control of target creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. If that creature is a goat, it also gets +3/+0 until end of turn. But Lucy, you may conceivably ask, where are all the goats? Goats is not a type in this set that is focused upon. My dear viewer, my dear darling and deviant, changelings are goats. I have Hexing Squelcher in my Green Goblin. Now my Green Goblin deck has 2 spells can be countered. Everybody knows if you have 2 instances of can't be countered, your spells super can't be countered. They can't even think about countering them. I have Krinko Mob Boss in my Kozlov Broken Halo, and I have a Swiftfoot Boot by the... I know you didn't say this, but when I read that, my brain defaulted to Swiftfoot Boot Fruit by the Foot. And now I need a version of Swiftfoot Boots that is just made of fruit by the foot. In the high heel, so Krinko Mob Boss was slaying in more ways than one. Let's go. Oh, hey, look, another legendary. Kirill, Attentive First Year, 1 and 2 red-white hybrid mana for a 3/3 vampire cleric. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control, copy target triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy, activate only once each turn. A very good, very strong card that I don't know if we have enough to really make work in this pool so far. In a foil Scarblade's Malice, and a really pretty full art Plains. Let's go Nap the Changeling with lifelink. Ooh, that'll just kill people. That'll just kill people. They will just. Sometimes you just lose. Furdock Core, another Aquatex Defenses, Liminal Hold, 3 and a white for an enchantment aura. When it enters, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. You gain 2 life. It's a worse Banishing Light / Oblivion Ring / Cast Out, but like, you play it, you'll play it. Another great for you. But, I'm being assaulted by yawns. Great Forest Druid, another Tweeze, Scarblades of Malice, Unforgiving Aim, 2 and a green for an instant choose 1, destroy target creature flying, destroy target enchantment, or make a 2/2 black and green elf creature token. I don't think that would be hard to make if you have enough money to make a fruit by the foot shoe. Probably $500 of debt, but still doable. I do not have that kind of money. Wait, I think there's one goat in the set that you get in a pre-con that is sort of group huggy. Probably. I would think so. But they're not focusing on goats is what I'm saying. Anyway, Reaping Willow, 1 and 3 white-black hybrid mana for a 3/6 Treefolk Cleric. Lifelink enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. You can pay 1 and a white-black to remove 2 -1/-1 counters from this creature. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, but only as a sorcery. That doesn't seem that bad. Sourbred Auntie, 2 and 2 red for a Goblin Warrior, 4/3. When it enters, you may blight 2. If you do, you create 2 1/1 black and red Goblin creature tokens. Ooh. Very good card for goblins. Glamour Gifter, 1 and a blue for a 1/2 Fairy Wizard with Flash and Flying. When it enters, choose up to 1 target creature. Until in turn, that creature has base power and toughness 4/4 and gains all creature types. Ooh. That's pretty powerful. I've said that for a lot of these cards, and I'm realizing, like, just like a lot of like, oh, this card's good. Oh, this card's really good. This card's really good. Nightmare Sower, 3 and a black for a 2/3 Fairy Assassin with Flying and Lifelink. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. These fairies are out to kill people. These fairies can be really obnoxious. Ooh, we got a Sapling Nursery, 6 green for an enchantment, affinity for forest, so it costs 1 less for each forest you control. Landfall, whenever a land you control enters, create a 3/4 green Treefolk creature token with reach. 1 and green, exile this enchantment, Treefolk, and forest you control gain indestructible until end of turn. I think this kind of solidifies that we want to be building around Doran for this pile of cards. But we'll need to see later. We have a foil Evolving Wilds, which is strictly better than the regular ones that we have. And a foil Island, not full art, but hey, very pretty still. And a Kithkin Elf. We're going to save the pretty... Actually, no. I want to set aside all the pretty women, and we're going to open those last. Because we're going to save the best for last. Let's set aside all the pretty women packs. These we're going to open last. Because I like women. Foraging Wickermaw. Another one of those. Another Blossom Bind. Another Shore Lurker. Another Wary Farmer. Another Brambleback Brute. Another Moonglove Extractor. Another Summit Sentinel. Another Glister Baron. Shimmer Creep. 4 and a black for a 3/5 elemental with menace. With Vivid, whenever it enters, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Not bad. Omni Changeling. This is the Changeling, the Omni Changeling. 3 blue for a Changeling with Convoke. You may have it enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield except it has Changeling. Ooh. That's not bad. What is your most hated card to fight in Magic? My most hated... So I'll be real. I don't think I have a... I don't have a least favorite card to fight in Magic, honestly. Like, I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, but it's like... Really, an individual card does not make me upset. What makes me upset is, like, if it's, like, a combination of cards. Like, if you're playing nothing but, like, stacks pieces, and you're just, like, have a bunch of enchantments that are making you unattackable, or you're doing the same thing with artifacts or creatures, it just kind of gets obnoxious very quickly, and it's like, do you want to play the game, or do you just want to, like, sit here and watch other people play while you just kind of, like, twiddle your thumbs until you draw your one card? My most hated card, the Wise Mothman, because F Brad counters, it's a KOS commander for me. Yeah, it can be pretty annoying. No, I do know. It's Norn the Wary. Not because, like, I don't really hate it. I think it's kind of funny, objectively. But, like, when you're at the table, and someone sits down with Norn the Wary, and they go, hey, I'm sitting down with Norn the Wary, and, like, everybody else at the pod's going like, haha, Norn the Wary, it's a meme, it's funny. And it's like, no, this card does a lot of things. Please treat this player as if they're playing the game. Ah! But they don't do that, and then the Norn player gets out of hand, and it goes insane. So we will pencil in Norn the Wary. Ooh, I love this card. So you hate the people that play the game in the chair. I mean, I didn't say that, but I guess that's what I'm saying now. Anyway, this card's really fun and cool. Rating schemes is 3 red-green for an enchantment. Each non-creature spell you cast has Conspire. If you were born before like 2000, if you're born before like 2006 and don't know what Conspire is, as you cast a non-creature spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it. When you do, copy it, and you may choose new targets for the copy. A copy of a permanent becomes a token. Even though, you know, it's a non-creature spell, but those can be artifacts and enchantments. So it's a really good card. And we got a Hollowed Fountain. Let's go. Is this a foil? Nope. Normal card. But hey, Plains Island. Makes 2 colors of mana. Can be fetched. Good card. Foil Cinder Strike. Not that good of a card. Full Art Mountain. Good card. Yeah. Another Mischievous Sneakling, another Unexpected Assistance, another Spiral into Solitude. We're gangly maxing! Crossroads Watcher, Elder Auntie, this is the card I was talking about. 2 in red for a 2/2 Goblin Warlock. When it enters, create a 1/1 black and red Goblin creature token. Just a solid card. They're just sitting there giving you tips that they have the notepad open as well. No, you have to do it this way. That's what the... Mario wouldn't say that. Vile Boggart, Miss Meadow Council again, Eclipsed Realms, Bark of Doran, 1 and a white for a artifact equipment, gets +0/+1. As long as equipped creature's toughness is greater than its power, it assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, and equips for 1. Not bad, but we've seen this a lot. Ooh. A Alt Art Deep Channel Duelist. A blue-white for a 2/2 Merfolk Soldier. At the beginning of your instep, untap target Merfolk you control. Other Merfolk you control get +1/+1. Ooh, that's a good card. I like that a lot. Flitterwing Nuisance. 1 blue for a 2/2 Fairy Rogue. Enters with a -1/-1 counter on it, but you can pay 2 and a blue. Remove a counter from this creature whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker this turn. Draw a card. Note that it's whenever a creature does that. A creature. Any of them. So if you attack with like 5 creatures and they all deal combat damage, that's a card. That's 5 cards, actually. And a foil Gravelgill Scoundrel. And a full art Swamp. Not bad. This box has not been bad. We've got a couple Shocklands. We've got some good cards. But I would like to see... Obviously, I would like a Bitter Blossom Bearer. While this set has a lot of cards that are fun to say, I have speech problems. So some of them are hard. Anyway, a Silvergill Peddler, Reluctant Downguard, Ferdok Core, Enraged Flamecaster, 2 and a red for a 3/2 Elemental Sorcerer with Reach. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, this creature deals 2 damage to each opponent. Not bad. Dawnhand Eulogist, 3 and a black for a 3/3 Elf Warlock. Beautiful art on a common, once again. Whenever this creature enters, mill 3 cards. Then if an elf card is in your graveyard, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Not bad. Dawn's Light Archer, another Heirloom Auntie, Dawn Blessed Pendant. 1 generic mana for an artifact. As this creature enters, choose Elemental, Elf, Fairy, Giant, Goblin, Kithkin, Merfolk, or Treefolk. Whenever a permanent you control of the chosen type enters, you gain 1 life. 2 and tap, sacrifice this artifact, return a card of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand. What am I looking at? Another Twin Flame Travelers, another Eclipse Boggart in the boring art. So, we have continued our trend of opening a special guest card in every set. I think Spider-Man was actually the one exception. Someone go back through my streams to check that. But Helix Pinnacle. If you don't know what this card is, as most people probably don't, 1 green mana for an enchantment with Shroud. Pay X mana, put X tower counters on this enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 100 or more tower counters on this enchantment, you win the game. So basically, you spend 100 mana, you win the game. In most times. There's a lot of scenarios where you can just spend more mana, or you reduce the cost of X, or you double counters on permanents, but Helix Pinnacle's pretty cool. If we get some more proliferate / counter doubling effects, this could be really powerful. Why is this the mythic we're opening multiples of? What the heck? This pack was insane. But the problem is, we already have another Spine Rock Tyrant. No! I don't need this many. We gotta... What is this? Foil Erdu Carrier of Dawn alt art? Hello? Was that... Hold on. That is a... These are lands. That was a triple... I guess the special guest isn't really a mythic, but that's a triple mythic pack. That's 3 orange symbols. What the heck is this pack? Jesus. Anyway, Erdu Carrier of Dawn. I don't have... Actually, I do have sleeves. I'm getting the sleeve for this one, because it's a foil. And that could be a really good thing. Anyway, we have Eridu, Carrier of Dawn. 3 white for a 5/5 flying lifelink elemental god. Creature spells you cast have Convoke. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay black if you do. Hello, Chronicle Procrastination. Thanks for the follow. Also, I think that was on Twitch. I don't know why it showed up on the YouTube side. I gotta figure this stuff out next time. Anyway, the other half is Isilu, Carrier of Twilight. Flying lifelink, each other non-token creature you control has Persist, and you can flip it over again. That pack was insane. What the heck was that? Also, I think that kind of confirms that we're playing Doran in this pile, because that's another white-black card, and white-black is the only one that we have is the... Streaming is hard sometimes. Streaming is hard all the time. Marrow Sky Swimmers, then card 3 and 2 white-blue hybrid mana for a 2/2 Merfolk Soldier with Convoke. Flying Vigilance, when it enters, you make another token. Decent card. Another Blossom Bind, another Gold Meadow Nomad, another Elder Auntie, another Dawnhand Eulogist with pretty art, Lisa Lana Informant, Summon Sentinel, Virulent Emissary, another Sizzling Changeling, Unbury. I mean, yeah, I guess that's what he's doing. 1 and a black for an instant. Choose 1. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Return 2 target creature cards to share a creature type from your graveyard to your hand. That's decent. Another Shine Striker. Winnowing or Winnowing? Anyway, 4 white, white for a sorcerer with Convoke. For each player, you choose a creature that player controls. Then each player sacrifices all other creatures they control that don't share a creature type with the chosen creature they control. So, each player, you choose a creature that player controls. So if you choose a changeling on your side, you don't get rid of anything. But if they have a bunch of different creature types, they get rid of most of it. I don't know if that's good or not. It probably is. It's probably fine. Foil Gut Splitter Gang. And a foil Full Art Plains. It's really pretty. This set's really pretty. I was looking at Magic the Gathering, and there was some girl who was wearing green yoga pants and had the same green screen on her. It was weird. Yeah. The meta on Twitch is very funny in ways that aren't that funny, actually. It's one of those things where it's like, I've thought about this if, like, I change my model up at all, like how I project into the greater universe. I thought about, like, if I would want to have, like, a really... How do I say this in a way that I don't get demonetized before I even have monetization enabled? If I were to have bountiful tracts of land, as they say. And on the one hand, I really do like sexy women. And pretty women. However, it's kind of the meta. And some of it's a little egregious. But I don't know. I would need to discuss it with an artiste. Anyway, moving on. Foraging Wicker Maul. Flaring Cinder. Keep Out. 1 and a white for an instant. Deals 4 damage to target tapped creature. Or it destroys target enchantment. Decent. Another Burning Curiosity. Scarblade Scouts. 1 and black for a 2/2 Elf Scout with lifelink. Whenever it enters, you mill 2 cards. Decent for the Elf deck that's trying to mill their cards. River's Guard Reflexes. Hovel Hurler, 3 red white for a 6/7 giant warrior. This creature enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it, so it becomes a 4/5. That's not anything. Bigger Hungabongle Dodonkadoos. True. Red white, remove a counter from this creature. Another creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains flying till end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. I've thought about getting a VTube model that would just be a skeleton. Those are things. I don't know how I would make it, but there's a couple ways you can do it. Another Vinebred Brawler. Another Warren Torchmaster. Another Nightmare Sower. Tristan's Command. Who the heck is Tristan? I'm a total lurker, by the way, Lucy. Don't be surprised if I bury the fact. No problem. I don't mind. Lurkers have value, in my opinion, despite what other streamers may say. 4 black-green for a Kindred Sorcery Elf. Choose 2. Make a token that's a copy of target elf you control. Return 1 or 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Destroy target creature or enchantment. Creatures target player controls get +3/+3 until end of turn. Untap them. That's really good, actually. You probably want to play that card even if you don't play elves. A foil Dream Caesar and a Full Art Mountain. I do like how they made the commands playable even if you're not playing the, even if you're not playing elves, this card's fine. Even if you're not playing goblins, Grub's command is okay. And when I say okay, I mean they're really powerful. They have some really good effects. Another Timid Shield Bearer. Another Chaos Spewer. Another Wild Unraveling. Another Mist Meadow Council. Brambleback Brute. Blighted Blackthorn. Guiltleaf's Embrace. Soul Blight Seeker. I don't think we got this one. 1 red for a 2/1 Elemental Sorcerer. Whenever you cast a spell, behold an elemental or pay 2 mana. You can pay 1 red. Target creature control gains trampled until end of turn. This is the 3rd time this ability has resolved. Add 4 red mana anyway. I'm back. Did I miss any cool pulls? Well, Smite Lord, you missed the pack of Like, as a reminder, these are all in the same pack. You missed the pack of Helix Pinnacle into Spine Rock Tyrant into Foil Full Art Eridu, Carrier of Dawn, and Isla Du, Carrier of Twilight. So, in other words, yes, you missed some good pulls. I am sorry. Gnarl Bark Elm with 2 and a black for a 3/4 Tree Folk Warlock. Enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. 2 and a black, remove 2 counters from this creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn, but only as a sorcery. Not bad. Another Noggle Robber. Kin Binding. 3 white for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. At the beginning of combat on your turn, make a 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature token. Not bad, actually. That seems pretty good. Ooh. Soul Immolation Mythic. 3 red for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast the spell Blight X. X can't be greater than the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Soul Immolation deals X damage to each opponent and each... Whoa. Oh, God. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, have you played Magic the Gathering on Tabletop Simulator? No. Look, I don't know if it's the autism or if it's like another thing that's wrong with me, but whenever somebody's like, hey, you can play this card game on Tabletop Simulator, my brain goes, yeah. It's like, Tabletop Simulator is... It's inefficient. I know a lot of people play like Warhammer and stuff on there too, and it's like, I'm sure there's ways it works, but like, I don't like it. And I don't know why. I'm sorry. Foil River's got reflexes. Ooh, and a foil island. Look how pretty that is. So pretty. I have a feeling the Pretty Women packs may not have that much in them, just like statistically speaking. Because, these packs have been fire so far. Another Liminal Hold, another Marrow Sky Swimmer, another... Oh, no, this is a new one. Chitinous Graspling. 3 and a green-blue hybrid for a 3/4 Shapeshifter with Changeling and Reach. It's a workhorse. It does what it needs to do. Another Wonderine Preacher, another Wary Farmer, another Flamekin Guildweaver, another Scarblade Scout, Dose of Moonglow, 4 and a black for an instant return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then if it isn't your main phase, Blight 2. Sometimes that's a benefit. Illusion Spinners is 4 and a blue for a 4/3 Fairy Wizard. You may cast a spell as though it had flash if you control a fairy. It has flying, and it has hexproof as long as it's untapped. Ooh, that's really good. Tabletop is a game I bought, played, and refunded because it wouldn't go past the main menu for some reason. That might just be a glitch, but it has worked for me, and I've played games on it before, and it's fine, but like, every time I've tried to play like a card game on it, like a board game has been fine, but whenever I try to play a card game on it, it just makes me, it doesn't jive with my brain for some reason. Ever Shrike's Gift. 1 white for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 as flying. 1 in white Blight 2. Return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only as a sorcery. These sorts of effects are always fine. You prefer to have like some enchantment synergies to go along with it, but it's not bad. Champion of the Weird. 3 and a black for a 5/5 Goblin Berserker. As additional cost to cast a spell, you gotta behold a goblin or cast it. Pay 1 life, Blight 2. Target opponent blights 2, only as a sorcery. When this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. That's pretty good. That's pretty powerful. But it's a champion. I'm not a huge fan. And a regular art Slumbering Walker. She's so adorable. She's so eepy. Great Forest Druid, foil, and some lands. Neat. Stalactite Dagger, Flaring Cinder, Sun-Dappled Celebrant, the Solana Informant, Reckless Ransacking. 1 in a red for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. You make a charge token. This might be a feather card. It might be fine. It might be okay. Another Dawnhand Eulogist. Wanderwine Distractor. 3 in a blue for a 4/3 Merfolk Wizard. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, target creature on opponent controls gets -3/-0 until end of turn. Good and limited. Another Deep Channel Duelist. Boggart Cursecrafter Alt Art. Black-red for a 2/3 Goblin Warlock with Death Touch. Whenever another Goblin you control dies, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. This card seems really powerful. As a reminder, Greenco is in Standard still. Eclipsed Elf. It's another one of those Eclipsed cards that's for elves, swamps, and forests. Lindra Guardian. 2 in a blue for a 3/4 Fairy Wizard with Flash and Flying. Enters with a -1/-1 counter on it. You can pay 1 in a blue to remove a counter from this creature. Counter target non-creature spell, and its controller draws a card. A more balanced version of Lindra Archmage? I don't remember the card. But it's more balanced, but like it's also bigger, has more power, can be repeatable. I think it's a bit better. And we got a Mutable Explorer. 2 in a green for a 1/1 Shapeshifter Changeling. Whenever it enters, you create a tapped Mutavault token. Not bad. And a foil Dawn's Light Archer. Alright, this is the last pack of Weird Goblin Person. And next up is the Elf Lady. I do like how they started putting different arts on packs now. There was a period of time where they stopped doing that, and I'm glad they're doing it again. Another Changeling Wayfarer. Got a Silver Guild Peddler. Liminal Hold. Reckless Ransacking, Moving Glove Extractor, Wildvine Pummeler, Bone Club Berserker, Wretched Wretch, Kinsbale Aspirant, Unwelcome Sprite, we've gone on that one before. Ooh, Mornsong Aria, 1 black for legendary enchantment. Players can't draw cards or gain life. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life, searches their library for a card, puts it in their hand, and then shuffle. This card is Degenerate. It's very good. Very, very good. If you have an opposition agent or any card that says you can't search libraries, or let's just say Aven Mind Sensor, for instance, this card will cause a lot of problems. If somebody plays this card in your commander pod, probably... There's also, there's an Ob Nixilis that if somebody searches their library, they, like, take 10 damage and put 10 counters on him. Like, Arya's really powerful. Ooh, and a Mythic Curious Colossus. 5 white for a 7/7 Giant Warrior. Whenever it enters, each creature target opponent controls loses all abilities, becomes a coward in addition to its other types, and has base power and toughness 1/1. Kith can respect giants, but not usually from such a close range. And a foil Blightrot, and a regular full art island. Alright, we have the last 5 packs, and they're all pretty elf women. Let's go. Statistically speaking, these packs won't be good because we've opened a lot of cracked packs recently. Like, a lot of those are really good. But hey, maybe these will be better. Maybe this will be the first box that we open 2 special guests in. Who knows? Another Prideful Feastling, another Cool Wrath Mystic, Keep Out, Surly Farrier, Elder Auntie, Bog Slither's Embrace, I think is new. 1 black for a sorcery, as additional cost to cast a spell, you blight 1 or pay 3, and you exile target creature. Solid removal spell. Unforgiving Aim, Prismatic Undercurrents, 3 green for an enchantment Vivid. When this enchantment enters, search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Reveal those cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Then you can play an additional land on each of your turns. Not bad. Squawk Roaster, 3 in a red for a star 4 double strike. Its power is equal to the number. Its power is equal to the number of colors among permanents you control. A 4-mana 2/4 with double strike's not that bad. If you can get this up to like a 3 or a 4, this card's insane. Darkness Descends. 2 black sorcery. Put 2 -1/-1 counters on each creature. Lofty Dreams. 3 blue for Convoke. Enchant creature. Whenever this aura enters, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying. Not bad. Gloom Ripper. That is such an edgy name. I love it. 3 black for a 4/4 elf assassin. When it enters, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, and up to 1 target creature opponent controls gets -0/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of elves you control plus the number of elf cards in your graveyard. It's not bad. Really good if you're playing elves. A foil Enraged Flamecaster, and a full art swamp, and a goblin token. Luckily, at least with the Aria, I don't think there's anything in the set specifically that goes off with it. But it can be pretty degenerate. There's Tributary Vaulter, Stalactite Dagger, Flamekeep Guildweaver, Bogslither's Embrace, another Tend the Springs, another Tweeze, Dawnblessed Pendant, another Boggart Cursecrafter, Eclipsed Marrow. It's the Merfolk version of this, so it's Merfolk Plains or Island. And a Steam Vince, not bad, not bad. We got a Steam Vince. Shockland, very good, very powerful. Foil Timid Shieldbearer. Getting Shocklands is always good in a set like this because, especially early on in a Progmander, because it lets us it gives us a solid base to build around. Spiral into Solitude, another Evolving Wilds, Aquatex Defenses, Assert Perfection, Enraged Flamecaster, Dream Caesar, Run Away Together, Unbury. Spell Snare is back. 1 blue mana for an instant, counter target spell with mana value 2. Note how it says, it does not say 2 or less. It's very specifically 2. Gotta be 2. Thought Weft Charge, 1 green for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. If a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. Not bad. Wanderbrine Trapper, 1 white for a 2/1 Merfolk Scout. 1 in tap. Tap another untapped creature you control. Tap target creature an opponent controls. That was a lot of tapping, and my brain kind of short-circuited out halfway through it. Tap another untapped creature you control. So you tap one of yours and this. And then tap a creature opponent controls. Okay, got it. We got there. Selfless Safe Right. 3 green for a 4/2 with Flash Convoke Elf Warrior. When it enters, choose a creature type. Other permanents you control of that type gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. A very powerful card. And a foil Nameless Inversion. Nameless Inversion's back. 1 black for a Kindred instant Shapeshifter Changeling. Target creature gets +3/-3 and loses all creature types until end of turn. And a foil regular Swamp. Look how pretty these lands are. Alright, 2 packs left. I think there's Shocklands being printed to make them affordable for me. Just to get one for my deck. True! Shocklands are one of those cards that they can keep reprinting because everybody needs them for every format. Mischievous Sneakling, Chitness Graspling, Feisty Spikeling, Enraged Flamecaster, Blight Rot, Dawnlight's Archer, Wonderwine Distractor, Moon Vigil Adherence, 2 green for a 0/0 Elf Druid with Trample, gets +1/+1 for each creature you control and each creature card in your graveyard. Not bad. Oh, that's not a rare. Kindle the Inner Flame is 3 in red for a Kindred Sorcery Elemental. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it has haste and beginning of your end step. Sacrifice this token. Flashback is 1 in red. Behold 3 elementals. Behold 3 elementals. This card's really good. Being able to copy anything is really powerful. Requiting Hex. 1 black for instant. As digital cost to cast a spell, you may blight 1. Destroy target creature with mana value 2 or less. If the spell's digital cost was paid, you gain 2 life. You really shouldn't be blighting here unless you want to blight, unless you want the -1/-1 counters. Otherwise, I would probably just destroy the creature. Hanufel Rhyme Speaker, 3 and a blue for a 2/4 elemental wizard. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, draw a card. Just a really powerful card in general, especially if you're convoking a lot. We got the card that people are talking about, Hexing Squelcher, 1 and a red for a 2/2 goblin sorcerer. This spell can be countered, ward pay 2 life, spells you control can't be countered, and other creatures you control have ward pay 2 life. Have you obtained a Chronicle of Victory? Have I? What rarity is it? I don't think so. It doesn't sound familiar. Let's see. Nope, not in my pile if it's a rare. Anyway, Hexing Squelcher goes over there. The Stratosaur, please go over there. We're number 1 of the Blight deck. Always be blighting. ABB, always be blighting. Anyway, everyone, bless the final pack. Bless the final woman. The final girl has arrived. That's the guy. Like, the guy. Alright, last pack magic. Prideful Feastling. Chitinous Graspling. Keep Out. Assert Perfection. Feed the Flames. Anti-Sentence. Gallant Foul Knight. Meanderer's Guide. 2 and a white for a 3/2 Merfolk Scout. Whenever it attacks, you may tap another untapped Merfolk you control. When you do, return target creature card with mana value 3 less from your graveyard to your battlefield. That's not bad at all. Alright, let's actually remove these last 2. We've got a regular. We've got like a wild card. We've got Plains. We've got Dundulin Weaver. Explosive Prodigy, 1 and a red for a 1/1 elemental sorcerer with Vivid. When it enters, it deals X damage to target creature and opponent controls, or X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Not bad. A Gut Splitter Gang. A Foil Personify. And Abigail Eloquent First Year. 2 white-black mana, hybrid mana for a Bird Bard with Flying, First Strike, and Lifelink. Whenever it enters, up to 1 other target creature loses all abilities, and put a Flying counter, a First Strike counter, and a Lifelink counter on that creature. Technically, it's the woman legendary, but not the one that people wanted. People wanted me to open the giant woman. Anyway, all in all, I think this box was kind of insane. Like, money-wise, I don't know. I haven't looked at the financials at all, because if I'm buying a box, I'm already not caring about financials, honestly. But, like, we've got Eridu, we got Bridget, we got Doran, we got Abigail, we got Kira, we got Sig, we got Sonar. This is a really good like pile of like initial legendaries. Even though I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be these 4. Like these are kind of like no big women, 0 out of 10 bucks. True, I guess. Well, does Eridu have a gender? I'm gonna play games. Spend watch your stream. Have a good day. Well, we do still have deck building if you want to stick around for that. But hey, if you got other things to do, go on. I enjoyed having you with us. Thank you for sticking around for as long as you did. All right. So, True Smite. Let's start building the deck. We've got Doran, Besieged by Time. I think we're gonna stick with Doran because Doran's just pretty good. Is there power and toughness? So if I attack with Bridget, does that mean she gets +1/+1 because the difference between power and toughness is 1? I don't know. I think that's a judge question. Anyway, we're going to be putting all these together. I don't think I'm going to put Abigail in because I think I want to keep abilities on most things. Alright, let's take a look through here. We definitely want the Selfless Safe Right. We might want to save on the Gloom Ripper. Curious Colossus seems really good. I think we don't want the Morn Salgaria because we're not doing shenanigans with it. Beautiful Explorer is probably just generically powerful. Slumbering Walker seems really good, but we have the fancy version of it. We're gonna put Bloodline Bidding off to the side, and we're gonna see. We might need to pick one of the types and build around it. We do have Kin Binding. I don't think we play Helix Pinnacle as cool as it is. Tristan's Command probably gets in just based off of having like some really good effects. Sapling Nursery is really good. I mean, I guess that probably means we're building around Treefolk, eh? Adept Water Shaper seems really good. A Johnny gets in always. Temple Garden and Moon Shadow we'll put off to the side. Alright. Let's do a Treefolk count. 1. 1. 1. Eclipsed Elf is an elf. We're not gonna put that off there. Let's see. Reaping Willow is very good for the Treefolk deck. Eclipsed Realms is probably just fine. It can get a little awkward since, like, we're probably not building around a specific type, but it should be okay to put in there. Evolving Wilds always gets in. Let's find the foil one that we got. Changeling Wayfinder is probably good enough to make it into the first iteration of the deck. Dawnblessed Pendant is probably always going to make it in for now. Furlock Core is a ramp spell. We don't have that many ways to get a hold of those, so ramp is always nice to have early on like this. Let's see here. Tend the Springs, we always want ramp there. Prismatic Undercurrents is kind of ramp. Treefolk Druid's really good. I wonder how many Treefolk we actually have. Not that many green Treefolk, honestly. Are they mostly in black and white? Treefolk, Warlock, bum ba dum bum 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 bum. Maybe we can't really build around types as much as I would like to. Like, maybe we just put good cards in? The Treefolk. I could have sworn there'd be more here. This is technically a Treefolk. Treefolk. Alright, so how many Treefolk is that? That is 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 10. I'll be honest, chat. 10 is not a large number. I don't think we can build around, I don't think we can build around a type, really. I think we're just gonna play Toughness Matters, really, and then just play the good cards. Probably something like Toughness Matters / Go Wide, kind of. So, like, before we start putting fancy cards in, start, like, getting ahead of ourselves, let's put in the removal spells that we have access to and see, like, which ones make the cut and which ones don't. Like, Keep Out's probably good enough, just because it can also hit enchantments. Let's see. We might play Bark of Dorian, maybe? Crib Swap definitely makes the cut. Let's see here. Pyrrhic Strike is probably fine. Actually, thinking about it, like, looking at our pile, Dorian's great and all, but, like, what black cards are we actually playing in this hypothetical deck? Like, Dorian's cool, but, like, what if we just, like, don't play Bloodline Bidding? Which kind of sucks, because Bloodline Bidding's really good. But what if we just played it, like, how many Kithkin do we have? I feel like we have, like, a decent amount of Kithkin. And that might just be better. Yes, I'm counting a Johnny as a Kithkin. Like, we don't get to play Eridu either, but, like, while that's, like, that sucks, I would prefer to play that really good card. If we have more synergy, that might be better. Because, like, we've got Wary Farmer. We've got... Thoughtweth Lieutenant. We've got... We didn't get the green-white version of the Eclipsed card. But we don't necessarily have to play all of the Kithkin, but, like, they're all elves. Let's see. Kithkin Knight. Kithkin Shield Bearer. Kithkin Spell Aspirant. Gold Meadow Nomad. Dawn Guard. Black Cannon Festival kind of acts as a bunch of Kithkin. Thoughtweth didn't be... Like, this is a lot of Kithkin. And that means we can actually play the, like, the like typal synergy stuff. Let's see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And not only that, but Bridget flips over into something that makes 1,000,000 mana. Which means we can play Helix Pinnacle. I kind of like this a bit more. So let's use this as a base, and let's put in some of these rare cards because like Adept Water Shaper's not, obviously, not a Kithkin, but pretty powerful. Same with Sapling Nursery. Winnowing is pretty good. Slumbering Walker and Curious Colossus are very good. Selfless Shaperite's very powerful. But let's go back and look at those removal spells. Because now we're only in green and white. But this also means we can play Dawn Blessed Pendant. Yeah, that's about the only card from that pile that we can play now. Boop. Oops, swap out. I think Spiral into Solitude ends up making the cut. Same with Liminal Hold. We don't really have that much to work with here. Just on nature of just like, we have one box of magic cards to work with and we gotta find 100. Oh, Kith Keeper. Honorary Kithkin. And because of that, what we can do is we can add... There's that Shimmer Wild's Growth that can change the color of a permanent. And the Foraging Wickermaw. And the Puka's Eye. It's very rare that we're actually going to get it, but these things replace themselves, but they can also give us the other 3 colors that we're missing for the Vivid cards. Assert Perfection. Unforgiving Aim not only is a removal spell, asterisk, but it can also give us a black card for Vivid. Not a lot of removal spells. Just in general. I guess that means Pitiless Fists makes the cut. I think this might be all of the removal we have access to in these colors. I don't like that much, but that is the unfortunate nature of green-white. Green-white and limited like this specifically. Let's see. All right. So we have our removal. I think this is all of our ramp. We have one... This isn't ramp, this is just doing stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is it in terms of ramp, really. Unless we want to start getting, like, really... Unless we want to interpret... Well, I don't think we need that much ramp, actually, because we're playing, like, a lot of low-to-the-ground stuff. We're trying to be, like, cast cheaper spells. Obviously, there's not going to be any ramped white, but I'm going to put Personify over there. So we've got a ramp here. Got a couple things here that help us out in terms of vivid and typal chicanery. Internally, we're looking for green-white. Green-white. I think we already have everything from the two-color pile. Yep, everything's fine there. 3, 6. Okay, let's see how many cards we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 6, 9, 10. 3, 6, 7. Okay. So, and when I am deck building for Progmander, I like starting with 40 lands. I understand that's a lot. However, think about it. I have less access to like the really efficient card draw that like a lot of Commander has access to. And not only that, but Commander players don't play enough lands to begin with. Really, you should be playing like 40 lands asterisk where like about like 6 of those are like double face cards where like they can be either or. So like they're like spells that you would want to cast that are also lands. The lowest I'd go is like 36, 37. But 40 is just the safer bet. So we are going to represent that with A planes. If I had my dice, I would have those over here. We have these over here, so we need. This is our stack of 40 lands that I will get later. I'll put this together later at some point. But that puts us at 20, 47. So that's 3. We have 13 extra spots for cards. And I'd like those to be primarily card draw effects or stuff that gets us other cards. So Moonlit Lamenter is one of those effects, draws us cards. Everstrike's Gift counts as evasion. Predictive Response is another removal spell that I forgot to include earlier. Right, we have 10 more slots. Thought with Charge draws a card. Guiltleaf's Embrace protects a creature. Midnight Tilling. Virulent Emissary can gain us some life. Prisma Basher gives us some reach. Uh-oh. Alright. We have run out of cards that I look at and go, I want that in my deck. So now, but what about the big cool giant that turns everything into a coward? That's in there. We have we already have it there. We have it in the pile over here. Beep. See? Curious Colossus. In the deck. Alright. Let's see. take a look at the color list again. Nothing I'm really excited to have in there. So let's go back over here. Looking for generic cards that are just kind of good. Sun Dappled Celebrant is big and has vigilance. Wildvine Pumbler might get big. I missed it, my bad, no problem. More Cant's Eyes Surveils one. Oh god, we're really stretching here. Oh god. Oh no. Do I have a Spiral into Solitude in my removal spell slot? I don't think we do. I do. Oh no. Oh no. That giant with the stones on his back? Yeah, it probably makes it in there. Just giving something indestructible is probably really solid. I was just kind of looking for something that was like a little bit better. I guess we can also blink it with Personify. That's not bad. How many other... no, we don't have that many merfolk. It's just basically all the changelings. It might be... I think it might just be Dawn's Light Archer, because I guess it can be a removal spell sometimes. Alright. We've got our initial deck ready to go. So the reason you saw like at the end there where it's like I'm kind of sacrificing like card quality for consistency. Like there's a lot of really good black cards that we could be playing. But because we don't really have a volume of the cards, like, we could just take this deck and take out, like, the bad cards and put in some good black cards and then have Dorian as the commander. But in Progmander, you really want your commander to make the deck. Every time that the commander is just a card that enables your colors, it's weaker because you want to draw the... Like, if you don't draw the really strong cards, you're left with, like, the middling limited version of the deck. So... As long as the card you always have access to, you want it to make the deck sing. You don't want it to be kind of okay. But this is what we got to work with so far. It's basically just a Kithkin Typal deck with like a splash of some elves and like the ability to do some vivid shenanigans. But I don't trust it, but you know, it's probably going to be fine. And hey, we're not stuck with this deck for long because soon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is coming out and that'll be a whole nother set. But I think that'll be it for today. I will finish off this and I will do the, I think I'll start doing the thing that I did last year as well, but I'll try to be a bit more consistent with it. I think I'm going to try to make more videos about this. I might do... I don't know if I want to do shorts on it. I think I might just keep it videos. Anyway, let's move over to... well... this was really fun. We had some really solid pools. I really did enjoy that people came over. Two things. One, if you liked that this was on YouTube over it being on Twitch, let me know, because I want to kind of pick and choose where I'm focusing on. YouTube lets me like have people, if they're subscribing, they find me here, but Twitch has a stranglehold on the live streaming thing, and I'll probably still use Twitch for stuff like that's not Magic per se. A lot of my friends have been suggesting that I stream Marvel Rivals when we play with them on the weekends, and I might do that. If that's something that's interesting, let me know. I just like talking with you guys. But thank you all so very much for showing up and watching, and until next time, au revoir!